I love this woman so much. She is one of my favorite storytellers. She's got a story for any theme I throw at her. She is the author of 2 books on lesbian werewolves, Lunatic Fringe, and most recently, Hungry Ghost. And y'all make sure you buy those books because there's lots of sex in them. She is also a sex educator who travels all over the country teaching classes like how to drive a vulva and Girls Sex 101. And she really, y'all need to give her an enormous welcome. Allison Moon.
Hello, sorry. I like to free bag it a little bit. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi. Ah, thanks. You're so friendly. It's the non-burner audience. It's the friendly one here tonight. Thank you, Dixie. So as Dixie mentioned, I'm an author. I wrote 2 books, and that means that I tend to go to a lot of writers' conferences. I go to about a handful of these writers' conferences every year. And my favorite one of these conferences is a feminist science fiction and fantasy con. It's awesome. It's really spectacular. It combines pretty much everything that gets me like super aroused genitally and super aroused brainily, all in one hot, like easy to nom on weekend of sexy. So it's this great combination of like feminists and queer theorists and scholars and artists and writers and creators and fans and uber geeks of different kinds, all smooshed up into this one weekend. And I go, and the problem with this is that individually, all of these things are very easy to love and very usually easy to bang. The problem is the combination of these things creates this sea, like a mile wide of hot queer feminists and like a mile deep of really awkward people. And I am one of those awkward people, and I'm not saying this because I'm like better than that or outside of that. Like, I am one of those people. I have all of those qualities smushed up into one. And most people don't believe me because I can get on stage and talk very candidly about my sex life, and that stuff doesn't freak me out. But if you get me like one-on-one and you try to bang me, it's gonna be really, really uncomfortable for both of us. I think it's that I'm easy, right? But I'm not easy. How many of you actually in this room have tried to bang me before? Anyone? Because I have friends in this room who've been like, yeah, no, I've been trying for 4 years. And it's not that I'm like cold, it's just that I'm really uncomfortable most of the time. So that's a thing. And so I go to this conference, and the first year I went, I didn't get laid, not even close to getting laid. Just, it was sad. I had crushes on like everyone there. I wanted to bang everybody, but I just couldn't do it. And then the next year I realized that like in the land of the awkward, the slightly less awkward person is queen. So, yeah. So I resolved to just be slightly less awkward. And my whole thing is that like I like to kind of broadcast. Like I like to just be in front of large groups of people and be myself and hope that that makes 1 or 2 hot people want to bang me and then be willing to try. You know, that's all I need. So at this conference, I'm on a lot of panels and I talk a lot in front of rooms of people, and then I just stand in the corner quietly hoping that some hot person's going to talk to me afterwards. And sometimes this works, and most of the time it doesn't, but the times that it works, it's awesome. So anyway, there was one person who came to my panels in the evening, and the late night panels tend to be super erotic, sexy, whatever, and I'm a sex educator and a writer, and so like I'm talking about like fucking and shapeshifting and all these like geeky, sexy things at like 10 p.m. And this girl she's actually the nanny during the day, so she can only come to panels in the evening, she would kind of come to my panels and then like corner me. So the second night at this conference, we are going to parties, and we're like at the hotel, like up and down rooms with parties. We're drinking green things out of test tubes because it's a science fiction fantasy conference, and that's what you do. And I'm standing outside of this party filled with super sexy people, most of whom I have crushes on. It's like the queer, or it's the science fiction writers of color party. And I'm standing there just like, everybody's so sexy. I'm just gonna stand here and drink my test tube. And so this girl, Molly, finds me, and she comes up to me, and she's talking to me and chatting with me and flirting really hard. And in my head, the monologue is, she just doesn't know. She just doesn't know. I feel so bad, but I can't say anything until she does. And so she's just kind of like laying it on thick, and then she lays on the line. The line! I've never been with a girl before. Now, I know that for Dixie, that's a turn on. For me, it's like kryptonite. Because I've been queer since I was in high school, and trust me, it's not that sexy. Fucking virgins of any kind is not my kink, okay? For a lot of reasons. One is the whole, like, I know that that's supposed to be like the bi-curious mating call, like, caca, I've never fucked a girl before, caca. Except, like, it sets up this weird set of expectations that I loathe. Like, one is that the idea that virginity is like a real thing anyway, and that it's something that somebody can give to somebody else, rather than this concept designed by the patriarchy to make them feel special for sticking their dicks in something for the first time. So, by that, I have a problem with it, right? So that's already a problem. At a feminist conference, at least. Oh my God, really? So that's a problem. And then there's this thing, like, if I do fuck you, you are going to be, like, either totally disgusted or totally aroused by my genitals, and I don't know which it's going to be. I do not know which it's going to be until, and like all the smells and the secretions, you might be like super turned on and then like deeply objectifying me. Oh, you smell so good. Oh my God, you're so soft. Which are, they're nice things by themselves. Telling me that I smell good and I'm soft are really nice things, unless you're comparing me to dudes. Because then it's like, you smell good because you don't smell like a dude. You feel good because you're not scratchy like a dude. These are problems, not turn-ons. And finally, if we do have sex, it means that I'm probably going to be doing all of the work. And the work is not only for me to prove that I'm good in bed, but rather I have to prove that lesbians can hold their own as a group of people banging women who only bang men. This is not okay. Sometimes I'm not in the mood. Oh. Thank you. But you know, it's the second night of the con. So she lays it on thick, and I stand there awkwardly, and then finally she just lays out her trump card and says, you know what? I should just go to bed. I have to wake up early in the morning to work. And most normal, rational, smart people who want to get laid would say, oh, here, come here. Ah. But instead I say, okay, good night, and I let her walk down the hallway. And in my head I'm like, God, you are a fucking moron. That was totally in. And then I have like a fan person who's just like standing right there in the hallway and like walks up to me and just starts talking about my books. And I'm like, hey, if I can't get laid, if somebody's talking nicely about my books, that's a close second. I will let you tell me how my art is nice, if not my vulva. So he starts talking to me about shapeshifters and stuff, and then I hear from the end of the hall, oh, fuck it! And running down the hall comes Molly. And she runs up to me, ignoring completely that I'm in a new conversation, and grabs me by the cheeks and just shoves her tongue down my throat, and pins me up against the wall and literally throws herself on me, which is a signal I can read. So in one fell swoop, she grabs my hand and drags me down the hallway, drags me into her room, throws me onto my bed. Somehow I'm naked. I don't even know how that happened. I'm on my back staring at the ceiling of her hotel room, and you know what? I think she may have been lying, because she ate me out like a fucking pro. I mean, she ate me out like a Dykes on Bikes picnic. It was fucking insane. It was fucking insane. I don't know if her ex-boyfriend just had a very tiny penis that resembled a clit or what, but it was excellent. She ate me out, and I came hard. And then she hand-fucks me, and again, I came really hard. So I came twice with a girl who's never been with girls before. And I thought, you know what, kid? You've got a bright future. Let me tell you. I don't say this to a lot of girls, but you'll be fine. So I'm lying there and I'm enjoying, and she's like, oh yeah, I should probably get to bed. I'm like, no, she didn't even want reciprocation. She just wanted to do me. And I'm like, you know what? If all bi-curious women were like this, that might be a thing. I might have to re-examine my stance. So I'm lying there, and I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to figure out where my clothes are, right? And at this point, again, I hadn't really known how I got into the room. I just found myself naked on a bed. And I'm looking for my bra, and I'm kind of like, in the bed, and I see it hanging off of the side of a crib. And then I see the entire room is filled with cribs. Like tiled, the floor is tiled with cribs. The only way from the door to the bed is the path we took. Everything else is taken up by baby crib. Luckily, they were empty. But I realize, where this came from. She's the nanny. So she has to get me out of the room before all the parents come to drop off their babies in the morning. So I'm lying there, and I kind of have this uncomfortable, like, that's a buzzkill. And I kind of roll over and look at her, and she sees me looking. She kind of leans over, and she looks into my eyes. She says, I've got so many babies. And in my head, I think that if there's one thing that can overcome awkward, it's fucking crazy. Thank you.